It's November 20th, Wednesday, and we're into the last days of the negotiations of this Conference of the Parties on Climate. After I packed it in last night around midnight, it turned out that the other negotiating group working on the issue called loss and damage, this is the working group looking to see what can be done when we don't reduce greenhouse gases fast enough, which is the case right now, and we haven't put in place adaptation plans, which is the case right now, and a country like the Philippines gets walloped by a typhoon. And this was an issue that came up last year at the COP in Doha. The code words are loss and damage, and it means that developing countries that are least able to cope with the ravages of climate change are now looking to industrialized countries that initially created the problem. And I say initially because now China has caught up with U.S. emissions to provide financial support when they're wiped out. Last night the negotiations went on till 4 in the morning on this topic, and at 4 in the morning all the developing countries, known as the Group of 77 and China, all walked out. And apparently the reason for the walkout was that the Australian negotiators, it wasn't just the positions they were taking, it was that the developing countries felt that they were behaving in ways that were, I've heard the word boorish, certainly unpleasant, certainly rude. So those negotiations got back on track today to discuss loss and damage, but that seems to be a real sticking point here. Developing countries are saying en masse, they're completely solid on this point, that they won't agree to any negotiation or any text at the end of Warsaw unless there is a response to the call for fairness, for assistance, some form of commitment under loss and damage. So the negotiations on the Durban platform, the so-called ADP group, I've been in those most of today, and there's a new text that's just been released. So although it's near the end of the day today here in Warsaw, I think I've probably got another 8 hours ahead of me, but the negotiations will continue, probably running into overtime on Saturday. I'll talk to you tomorrow.